You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards. You're buried there. Your people are dying. You're running low on soldiers. Listen, you're running low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
With guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me. That wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia, the 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam, and he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right. We'll see what we can do about putting it together.
Guys, come on, let's go.
We'll see, I don't know.
All right, guys, come on. Wait, hey, come on. Guys, come on, let's move, please.
I have been covering politics for nigh on 20 years. As you know, I've been fortunate enough to be at the centre of British politics, behind the scenes. I've been in head-to-head meetings between the Prime Minister of Britain and countries that we have disagreements with and countries that we are allies with. I've seen what happens when the media leaves the room. I have never in my life heard anything remotely close to what we have just witnessed. We have just witnessed history. We have just witnessed something that is closer to Jerry Springer over war on the European continent. Honestly speechless. There's a press conference going to happen later. Apparently, I don't know. I mean, who knows whether it's going to happen later? There's a press conference between Zelensky and Trump going to happen later. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if someone's going to emerge with a black eye. Zelensky looked like he was going to cry at points during that. 0345 6060 973. It's in these moments, folks. We turn it over to what you think. I mean, you've heard the same thing. We've all been going through the consequences of a war in Ukraine, us because of rising prices, whether it's energy or otherwise. We've all seen the effects of it. Trump has come in and in a month said he's going to do a deal to end the war. What do you think? What do you think? Simon Marks is LBC's Washington correspondent. Simon, what do you think? What do you think?
I think it was a mugging. I think it was a mugging, Tom, and I think it was entirely premeditated. I think that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance knew exactly what they were going to do the moment that they brought President Zelensky into the Oval Office. This is Donald Trump's thank you to the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, who yesterday went out of his way to flatter Donald Trump, invite him to make a state visit to the UK, secured the Prime Minister's approval of President Trump's efforts to try and end the war in Ukraine. And I suspect that they were fully aware yesterday, during that meeting with the Prime Minister, of what they were going to engage in today with the Ukrainian leader, the most courageous figure Europe has seen since 1945. They engaged in a premeditated geostrategic mugging of the Ukrainian president over that 45-minute brutal photo opportunity that Donald Trump deliberately put Zelensky through. And you heard him there at one point saying, this is why I let this thing run so long. And it's clear that this was premeditated. This is going to boost Zelensky's standing in Ukraine dramatically. The Russians, and let me just tell you parenthetically, the Russian news agency TASS, a Putin propaganda outfit, was allowed into the Oval Office, but not Reuters or the Associated Press. This is manna from heaven for Vladimir Putin, and it is a massive, massive political problem for Sir Keir Starmer, Lord Peter Mandelson, Number 10, and Emmanuel Macron, of course, who was here on Monday.
And most directly, Ukraine. I mean, there's Trump saying, make a deal or we're out, is a threat that Ukraine cannot do anything but acquiesce to. And so, in a sense, Simon, I'm actually, in a way, really pleased we all got to hear and see that. Because, I mean, there it is. It is authentically angry. That meeting, were it to have happened behind closed doors, obviously would never have been shown, but the readout would have, I think, reflected some of the anger there. But we have all now seen the American president and his sort of vice president kind of bully, almost, the kind of the kid next to you in the playground who goes and starts the fight on your behalf.
Absolutely. But also playing to Trump's
try and
base.
take down Zelensky in a press conference.
Totally, but also playing to Trump's base and saying, Donald Trump, that he was really glad the American people were getting a chance to see this, and continuing to accuse President Zelensky, as J.D. Vance disgracefully did there, of not having thanked the United States for its assistance. Zelensky has constantly thanked the United States and the American people for the assistance they have provided him. But this is surely now the moment that the transatlantic alliance ends. I mean, all the talk yesterday, which was, specious at best about the special relationship between the US and the UK, that is now absolutely consigned on the ash heap of bilateral cliches. There is no coming back from this for the UK, for France, for Germany, for NATO members across the board. This is the inflection point that Donald Trump absolutely planned. And it was so obviously premeditated. This wasn't a conversation that was going off the rails. This was a conversation that Donald Trump deliberately kept going, snaring Zelensky in to a trap that he and the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, unleashed. And, you know, this is Donald Trump doing Putin's dirty work for Putin. There's no question about that. Now, they were supposed to leave that room and go and sign the minerals deal. It's hard to imagine that Volodymyr Zelensky is going to sign anything after that. Then they're supposed to have lunch together, can you imagine?
I know.
And then a joint press conference. I mean, if you're Volodymyr Zelensky, the presumably the most sensible course now is just to leave the building. But
I don't know. He can sign.
I can't imagine what's going to happen next.
What is the president of Ukraine meant to do if the president of the United States has said, if you don't sign this deal, militarily we're out and you're on your own? The Europeans. We can't make enough bullets to go and help the Ukrainians. We need the Americans too to give us the cover that we are helping Ukraine in pushing back Russian troops. If the American president says, if he follows through on it, Zelensky has no option. He's being bullied into sign a deal, and he's being bullied in front of the cameras.
Yeah, but that is why Zelensky is now going to need massive amounts of geopolitical European assistance, and it's going to require European leaders to start drawing a line in the sand here for the United States and the American government, rather than, as we saw Macron do on Monday and the Prime Minister do yesterday, coming here and thinking that you can flatter your way towards some kind of an agreement on security guarantees in Ukraine. Now, I think it's possible that eventually that deal on rare earths minerals get signed. I'm just wondering whether Zelensky, after that pasting that he took there, and every effort that he made politely to try and steer the conversation back to some semblance of normal, was absolutely torpedoed. I mean, you know, Donald Trump at times was holding him down, and J.D. Vance was brandishing the shiv, and then other times they switched around. I've never seen anything like it.
Simon, really appreciate it. As always, thank you for being there for us. Simon Marks, LBC's Washington correspondent.